good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thanks for joining the interview. Could you briefly introduce yourself to our viewers?
Yeah, I'm Chjango Unchained. I host the Cosmos radio station Interchain.fm. I was part of building the Cosmos ecosystem from the Genesis, and I run a validator called Interchain.fm. I'm an advisor to a few Cosmos projects, notably Osmosis, and I've just been working to grow Cosmos adoption for a very long time.
Wow. Okay. I watched your boxing match at OSMOCON yesterday, and it was so intense. Actually, that was your match was my favorite one. So, how did you feel?
Yeah, so, over the years, you just develop so much stress and tension in your body because, you go through so much drama. There's post-traumatic stress disorder from working in a very close-knit, high-pressure team.
Right.
Now a lot of Cosmos community members can outwardly perceive the drama that happens in Cosmos, but imagine that for 3.5 years all internally while trying to project an outward veneer of having everything together and it's all cool, we're gonna launch mainnet, but in reality everyone was like argh! And so to have that internal aggression let loose on another willing participant felt really good, and I'm sore today. It's been one day. We did it yesterday, and my body's really sore, but it's like a good kind of sore.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
It was so intense and so entertaining, of course.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. Could you introduce Interchain FM to our viewers?
Yeah, absolutely. So Interchain FM started in the end of 2019. So it was the first Cosmos podcast. The reason we had to do that was because this preceded people knowing about Cosmos, understanding about Cosmos, caring about Cosmos. So we internally conceived of, why don't we do our own Cosmos podcast, and Interchain FM was born. I had my co-host, he's the IBC core developer, the person who designed the spec, Christopher Goetz, he was my original co-host. But then, ever since he started Anoma, we kind of broke off and did our own things. So now I'm the single host. And that's the genesis of Interchain FM. Now it's really, if you talk to a newbie about crypto, the learning curve is just so steep.
I know.
To a point,
newbie,
yeah,
myself. So.
Right, exactly. And to you, it may feel, it's not even a steep incline. It's inverted, So and you're just come on, I just learned this thing, and now you can throw it.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to make it more easy to navigate, and that's what Interchain FM's goal is. Yeah, it's really a public good. We started off with it being a Cosmos ecosystem specific podcast, but as the space evolves, it's all going to blend together, and ultimately the layer zeros and the layer ones are going to be abstracted away from the end user. So the end goal of Interchain FM is to have it be generalized, to talk about blockchain scaling and extensibility, because that's ultimately what all of these different permutations of scaling architectures are going to end up being.
Right. That's so amazing. Okay, you are one of the Cosmos OGs, so do you feel that Interchain ecosystem has grown over the years? How do you feel?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's an analog of the ecosystem. It's like a kid, like a little baby.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, before mainnet launch, you just had the baby's being incubated, and then mainnet launch happens, and then the baby is born, and you have a toddler, but you have to do everything. You have to wipe its butt.
Right.
You have to feed it, in order for it to survive. And so it's really, really hand holding. You need to bootstrap everything. There's a lot of work goes into it. But now it's grown so much that there's a flywheel effect, and the child is becoming independent. So now there's people who use the technology able to speak to the technology, the protocols itself, so that it's not just the core team. As a podcaster, it's not just the internal team podcasting about it, right? There's like a bunch of other people doing it. You know, shout out Cryptocito, shout out Liam Connor, shout out Don Kryptonium. You know, these guys are great, right? There's a whole bunch, and you know, you guys doing a podcast or whatever this is, you know, whatever it's gonna end up, you know, who, right? It's like it's just there's a flywheel effect. So now, and then the toddler becomes a child, and then the child becomes a teenager, and then it becomes a fully fledged adult, and then it's just not going anywhere, and it's gonna start. It's like totally independent.
Wow. Thank you so much. That was great. You're also an advisor to Osmosis, and there are so many like developments happening in the ecosystem. How are you envisioning the future of Osmosis in coming few months?
In the next few months, there's not. I mean, if the time frame is a few months, it's like not too much to talk about. There's a lot of improvements on capital efficiency, so that's notable. However, the next few years, that's where users are going to see the real major difference. Right. The ecosystem is consistently growing, and it's like a very intentional ecosystem growth in the direction of like a vertically stacked suite of DeFi protocols. Right. So the most notable extension of the spot AMM is going to be OMX. It's the GMX of Cosmos. OMX is going to allow you to leverage trade at 50x. I mean, it's going to get all the degens in here, really. And it's going to be able to be built. It's built on top of the liquidity moat that Osmosis already has. So Osmosis is going to continue iterating in that direction of providing CeFi quality user experience, but without the CeFi setbacks. Okay.
Thank you. Is there anything you want to say to like Korean Web3 community in general?
감사합니다. 드셔보세요. 드셔보세요. 죽을래? And this one.
You just said you want to die?
Yes. I used to watch Korean dramas back when I was in college. That was a long time ago. And oppa. Is that in a sexual context?
No.
That's in a
kind of like friendly way to call like older brothers.
Okay.
Older guys.
언니. Yeah, those are all the words I know.
I like that one better.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. Other than that, I love you, Cosmostation. I use you guys to do a whole bunch of different things and keep doing great work.
Thank you so much. What was the first coin that you bought? When was it, and why did you buy it? Do you remember?
The first coin I ever bought was Bitcoin. So in 2014, I was looking for passive investment vehicles because I was thinking of leaving my job. I used to work at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. It's a NASA laboratory. They specialize in sending the Mars rover, obviously to Mars. And I hung out with one of my friends. He was a Bitcoin miner, my college friend, and he told me about Bitcoin as an investment vehicle. That same day, I bought some Bitcoin, and exactly 2 months later, I quit my job and like went full deep into Bitcoin.
Wow.
But it wouldn't be for another a year and a half to 2 years before I actually joined a reputable project and actually was being paid as part of the industry. So I was working for free, getting myself up the learning curve. Right. To figure out what this whole thing was about. I mean, my friend was a Bitcoin miner, so he was very technical. He was like an engineer, so he told me about how UTXOs work. He told me about how proof of work works, and then he explained the concept of decentralization. And so, like I was always drawn to the technical. So from then, I understood that this is the future of money. It was like I don't know. It's like something instantly clicked, right? Like when something clicks for you, you just And then I'm someone who like dives head first.
Yes.
I just like all right. I'm gonna quit my job and like just do that. And I've never gotten out ever since, and will never leave.
You're real on OG.
It like that time coincided with when I was exploring what I was supposed to do with my life. So it matched up with my hero's journey.
Makes sense.
And then after a year and a half of like introspection and like traveling the world with like a backpack, I figured out that it was crypto.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.